The Kyle method. Get in one corner of the frame.
I am.
It's on!
Who does that?
No, that was me. I was watching this on
But I don't know. Considering what our son's been up to lately, that's just—he's growing up. It's terrible. He's growing up. Hey, everyone.
He's a teenager now, and he just did his first kind of go hang at the mall with friends type
Wait,
thing.
you guys still a mall up there?
Well, it was a strip mall, but that kind of thing. So it was like, hey everybody, it's Disney Parks Talk Live. I'm Rebecca Mosley, the co-founder of Laughing Place, and over there, hey, that's my husband, Doobie.
Hey, I'm Doobie. I'm her husband. How y'all doing? Nice to be with you.
We built this thing together, and now we have a bunch of other people who help us out around here, like that dude down there. That's Jeremiah.
Thanks, Kyle.
I'm sorry, you beat. Yes.
Kyle Burbank is our site editor, and he's coming in to let you know that Jeremiah's stylish shirt is provided by Roosevelt. I'm going to say hi to people while Doobie gets things underway because he's very confused since I jumped in. Hi, cuties. Hey, Charles Johnson. We appreciate you stopping by.
Welcome and salutations.
Heck.
Doobie is long lost.
I am very frustrated that
working this show now.
This is. All right, fine. We'll just do it this way. The fourth member of our team is Michael Celestino. I'm not logged in on this browser. It won't let me click. I tried to go to another browser. It won't share the screen. So we'll just go with this. There he is. This is why he is not here today. He is in Alaska. He wishes he was here. He is very sad to be missing the show. He does not care. He probably has no clue we're doing the show today because he is on vacation.
Oh,
to be honest,
so
at times he doesn't have a clue that we're doing the show.
So if you'd like to follow Mike's vacation, Instagram, Who's the Boss Pod. He is using his Who's the Boss podcast to chronicle his journey. And it looks like he's having a good time on his Princess Cruise.
I think I have a friend on that cruise also.
Yeah, Mike Celestino.
Yes.
All right, let's get started.
Everybody.
It's a quiet day in the world of Disney parks, a quiet week. So
yeah.
If anyone out there has any questions or anything you'd like to, this will be a great week to bring those up. So anyway,
I have a pin.
let's see, as though that makes it
An
official.
old school Space Mountain one?
Yeah, I came across this old pin the other day. And look, it spins like Mickey flies by on the...
And that backer card, it's after the website launched, so I'd probably guess we're looking at 05 or later for that.
OfficialDisneyPinTrading.com. Yeah, I don't even know.
Oh wow, retro.
Yep.
All right, let's start with what we are calling our top story. As Kyle said, didn't even know what to make the thumbnail. How about this beauty? Run Disney, which is something Jeremiah is a huge fan of, has released their latest group of medals for the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend next year.
Woohoo!
There is the 5K. Jeremiah doesn't even get out of bed for a 5K. There's the 10K featuring Chip and Dale.
He's so cute. Aw, they're so cute.
Unless I'm dopey, I'm not getting out of bed.
That's right. The 13.1. 13.1 what? Miles, yes. A half marathon. The heck?
Inches.
Why do they switch from Ks to miles? Why do they do that to us?
That pin I was showing, that's not Mickey Mouse on there. That's Stitch.
Oh, which is why you own it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So, see, it's 5K, 10K, 13.1 miles. That's so confusing. Featuring Donald and Daisy And then you have the full marathon medal featuring Mickey and Minnie. And then I wonder, is there a Dopey medal? There is.
Yep.
Featuring Goofy. Oh, it's not the Dopey medal. It's the Goofy's Race and a Half Challenge. This is when you do the marathon and the half marathon. And then if you do all four, there's the Dopey Challenge.
Dopey.
48.6. So those are so attractive that I almost want to do the Dopey just to get them all.
Because the jewels light up. I was wondering why we have two pictures next to each other, and
because it has eerie luminescence.
It's bedazzled, just like Jeremiah's shirt. So that is the any comments on the medals this year, either of you guys?
I always enjoy the basic medals when they just throw the characters on there. It doesn't have to be. Usually they don't do that with the marathon. But like the princess and all those where it's every single one is something different. This is just the Fab Five. Oh, and more.
I'm a
DR. Jeremiah hates the Fab Five. All right. In other news,
what am I, Kyle and Orangeburg in here?
So Disney is countering the narrative that attendance is low at the parks by introducing a Florida resident 2-park explorer ticket to get attendance higher at the parks.
But only 2 of the parks.
Only 2 of the parks. So this is a new 2-day ticket they're introducing. $159. You get 1 day at Animal Kingdom, 1 day at Epcot, or 2 days at Epcot, or 2 days at Animal Kingdom. But you don't get to go to the other parks, and you don't get to park hop. Tickets are valid already through September 29th. You must be a Florida resident. And they actually have an add-on option for $35 more. You can get a water park ticket.
Or a miniature golf game.
If you pay $35 more for the miniature golf game, unless those prices have gone way up.
I was reading through that, and I'm like, okay, the water park, absolutely. Miniature golf?
No, but water park, absolutely. So anyway, that should hopefully help the attendance a little bit at Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Jeremiah, your thoughts?
The parks aren't as busy as they have been for the past few years. That's mostly because we were kind of locked up for a little while, and anybody could go to the parks did, and it was very busy. This summer, I've seen more out-of-country guests than I've seen even before the lockdown happened. So I think everybody's getting back to normal. Yes, I know Rebecca.
We are lucky to have a Roosevelt's ambassador with us to answer this question.
Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, at least 4 new Disney 100 shirts. There is an advertisement on the Roosevelt's Instagram that is more of a plain crazy. It's a darker blue, or I guess light blue, with Mickey and Minnie in the old rubber arm phase. I have seen 2 of the other ones on Mr. Morrow. One is this. I don't think you would like it at all, Doobie. It's black with neon Mickey heads that are very large. And then the other one is kind of like the one that I have, where it's just the characters kind of all over the shirt. But this one has Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Pluto, so it kind of expands that shirt. I don't recall what the 4th one was. I've heard, but I until I see it, it won't ring a bell. But yes, these have sold out very quickly, each drop. So tomorrow around 4 o'clock, especially if you're in the large to 2 to 3X size, those always sell out first. For some reason, I don't understand. The smalls hardly ever sell out.
They make more large and less small. So 2 smalls together to make a large. Exactly. So thanks, Caleb, for bringing that up. All right. Other news. This one actually made me very happy. Not a huge announcement, but a useful announcement. And that is Disneyland and Disney World both have updated their dining reservation system. Have you been able to use this yet, Jeremiah?
I haven't. I haven't gone into the park to do any dining at a restaurant recently because I've been avoiding the parks. The sun is trying to kill us like in Super Mario Brothers. But this, I will say that this is leaps and bounds above what it used to be. Just having to go through to find the time, you would search, and then you would search almost the exact same thing, and all of a sudden something would pop up. This is kind of like the old FastPass Plus, where you could choose a time and some lightning lane. So it works out better where it's all right there, as opposed to the hunting and pecking while you're trying to find it.
Yeah, so it used to be that when you would choose a time, it would give you 3 times close to the ones you chose. And then if you searched again, maybe you get 3 other ones. But now, when you search, as Rebecca is showing, you get every.
Nope. This is it. Doesn't. It hasn't gone into effect yet, right?
Oh, so you have the old one.
Yeah. Mine is the old one. Mine's the old interface. So
It
when
is
I
rolling
clicked,
out.
I used to click like 3 o'clock, and then you would get whatever was available, kind of 15 to 30 before, 15 to 30 after that 3 o'clock slot. And now you'll just be able to just scroll to your heart's content.
Yep, shows them all. It also very clearly showed, because it used to be maybe if it showed, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30. Well, which one's the lunch menu? Which one's dinner? Now it will separate them out by lunch and dinner, so you for sure know which one you're getting. It says it's rolling out in the next few days.
Yep.
So if you don't have it yet, hopefully you will be soon.
And as far as Doobie's thing about refreshing, just so you know, that probably won't change, because that kind of dynamic happens when people cancel or whatever. So, when you're at the parks, if there was a particular restaurant that you want, check it out while you're there. You never know. Doobie and I have had it, we're sitting there, we're like, let's see what's going on. We would love to, hit up. I know in our case, one time we got into Space 220, shockingly. Another time it was the popular Sebastian Bistro over at Caribbean Beach Resort. So, like I say, once you're at the parks, check it out. You might find that the place that had not been accessible to you suddenly has become available as people's plans change during the day. Maybe that trek over to the Contemporary Resort for Concourse Steakhouse, which is now named something totally different, but I'm going with the name that's decades old.
On time out.
California
Concourse
Grill?
Steakhouse.
No, Concourse Steakhouse is now a grab and go. You can't even make a reservation there.
Contempo
The
Cafe?
Contempo Cafe. Yes.
Contempo Cafe. But that was
I really, like, Kyle, if you could get just my face when she said that, of sheer, like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
It was the first contemporary restaurant name that came into my head. But no, Steakhouse 71, right? That's the one now.
That's the wave, yes.
Yeah, maybe they're in
Family
the
Fun
parks
Center.
and they decided they don't want to have to go all the way over to the Contemporary and keep that dinner reservation that they had, so they'll drop it and you can pick it up. So
Rebecca's inviting you to stay in the North Garden Wing at the Contemporary Resort. Maybe hang out at the Family Fun Center, have dinner at the Concourse Steakhouse, or check out Top of the World. That's right.
I can't help it.
Oh, no.
I totally understand that.
I saw some messages already.
That was quick. That was quick.
Do you need me to download it?
I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the face of confusion.
Okay, true. Yeah, sorry about that.
Well done. Well done.
Like I say, I still work
All right.
that, by the way, just on a side note.
Okay, we used to go there for breakfast. The cinnamon rolls, the sticky buns, or whatever they were in the morning,
Buns.
were the best. And now they're gone.
Yep, it's kind of like a tearaway. It was kind of like a cinnamon tearaway bread.
Well, the
You can
Steakhouse 71.
ask Jeff about it, Jeremiah. I'm sure Jeff could tell you many wonderful stories.
I'm sure Jeff has videos of him talking to Mickey while Mickey was tearing away the bread.
For sure.
But Steakhouse 71 is a solid breakfast replacement. It's hard to complain about that.
Oh, hang on. I think.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it is still just the one photo of Roosevelt's.
Oh, okay.
They just sent out their email.
Oh,
More
okay,
breaking
cool.
news.
We'll be able to learn more about that on tomorrow's Barely Necessities. I am certain
Mm-hmm.
of that. Yes, even if they're sold out, they'll be talking about it. All right, Animal Kingdom awakens for fall with the return of Tree of Life Awakenings as daylight savings time ends and darkness comes sooner. Animal
Aw,
Kingdom will light up with the awakenings. That is when they do the tree. Describe awakenings, Jeremiah.
It is projections on the Tree of Life, and out of all of the projection shows, this one, there we go. I don't even remember if this was one of the normal ones or if this was
This
was
is
Avatar.
So
This
this
is
would have been last
Avatar.
year's fall, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
I was actually over there last week for the Disney Vacation Club Moonlight Magic, which you can read all about my experience as being an honorary Disney Vacation Club member on our site. And they were doing the Tree of Life projections for that event, and I forgot how amazing it is. Even when you're walking around the backside of the tree and just watching like the hippo yawn, and it's just that's a continual loop of different animals coming to life and just wandering around. I know that they'll have the lion walk in the front of the tree at times, and then they have some of the different shows. I hope that those are all coming back also that were part of the 50th celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But
but my favorite is not so much when they use the tree for a as a like a kind of a canvas for footage of Avatar, but when they use that projection mapping to, in essence, make those beautiful animal carvings in the Tree of Life seemingly awaken and just go for a stroll off the tree. So cool. Like Jeremiah says, all of a sudden seeing like the hippo yawn from the tree or something along those lines. So cool.
Did you say you thought that was your favorite of the beacons of hope over Spaceship Earth, even?
Projection wise.
Okay.
The ones that are projection based.
No, the beacons of magic, light, and all that such is Spaceship Earth still always and forever.
So this wasn't on our schedule, but it's been posted now, so we can officially talk about it. Jeremiah, what is it like to be an honorary Disney Vacation Club member? By the way, what the heck is an honorary Disney Vacation Club member?
I was invited to spend 2 nights at the Disney Riviera and get the full Disney Vacation Club experience. We got a chance to go up to the Top of the World Lounge of Villain's
So
Lair.
jealous.
Yes.
Did you have to pay dues?
So
I did not.
jealous.
That's why we were invited. We were hosted.
You did not
They're
get the full
hosted.
experience.
No. No. I've had the opportunity to stay at many of the hotels. The Riviera is just one of the most beautiful
Doobie,
hotels.
you'd never leave the room.
What the heck?
I know.
Are we aware of who founded this website? Why were you there?
Dude, Doobie would never leave his hotel room. He would just sit and gaze
I know.
out the window.
This is one of the few times where I was a little jealous of the folks on the other tower that could look right out at the Skyliner, but it's no longer the best kept secret. Yes, but that was the room. Beautiful rooms. They just so nice. It was an opportunity for me to experience it. We got to eat at the Top of the World Lounge of Villain's Lair, which is at the top of the Bay Lake Tower, not where Rebecca used to eat when she was 12. We got the opportunity to go to the Vacation Club Lounge at the Imagination Pavilion, and then to wrap up, we got to do the Moonlight Magic at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
That pretzel looks very similar to the
It
one
is
that
very
similar.
on the cruise. On the Witch.
That
Or
is
the
my
Pin Kitchen.
view of the fireworks. And sadly, I do not have the video to upload at this moment, but that video will be coming at some point very soon.
You got to hang out in the Imagination Lounge?
Yes.
Wow, you got the whole experience, man.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. And staying at the Riviera,
I have never seen those
exactly.
walkarounds before.
No, so you're jumping way ahead, Doobie. The Imagination Pavilion was great. One of the biggest selling points, and I know Doobie, you've said this since the first time you stepped foot on it, Skyliner to Epcot was just so nice. I mean, being able to walk through International Gateway, go to the Imagination Pavilion, do the lounge, walk around World Showcase, enjoy stuff at our leisure, and then just hop back on the Skyliner to go back. It was amazing. Moonlight Magic, a Disney Vacation Club only event that happens multiple times throughout the year. It is complimentary to members. You have to sign up. This event goes quicker than some of the other like D23 or annual pass events. People have multiple computers going. This one happened to be on a very rainy night. I spent about an hour hanging out with some of our publicity friends from Disney Vacation Club and the PR department, about an hour under the cover before we could venture out into the lake that was Animal Kingdom. They brought the characters into the Festival of the Lion King arena, where for the first time, yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm reading Kyle's comments. Kerchak and Kala, I've never seen before. When they opened the door and I saw Kerchak there, people were saying that my face lit up. I was so excited to see them. And Kerchak, for a character that hasn't been out in, how long has it been since Tarzan came out? Because I don't think they made these characters since then.
Can I interrupt you for a quick second?
Yes.
Because we actually got a picture of your face when you noticed those characters there.
I was so confused. The Kerchak wouldn't let people hug him, was very stern. Like, he gave me a fist bump, and then as soon as
awesome.
He smelled his fist and then wiped it off.
Nice.
So it was great. Turk and Kala were amazing, and they switched out with Tarzan and Jane with Turk. So I lucked out, and Kerchak and Kala were there. And then they had the ducks, which were the next photo.
And this is why
they're
he's our editor,
gorillas.
folks.
Gorilla. So Scrooge, Launchpad have been out quite often, especially in Animal Kingdom over the few years. Darkwing was there, and they had the arena set up so it was the Tarzan characters, the Duckburg characters, and then characters from A Bug's Life. Sadly, the line for the characters from A Bug's Life were not moving at all.
Oh.
So I didn't get a chance to see them. But at one point, Darkwing had to go, he had a case to figure out.
Yeah, there was trouble, so they called for DW.
Exactly. And everybody in the line that the cast members were like, oh, we're sorry, Darkwing has to go, solve a case. So you have to take a picture with Scrooge and Launchpad, and if you want Darkwing, you can go out and get back in line. Yeah. They were trying to get managers to try to get people to leave the front of the line. Like, I was at the entrance of the door, so I had quite a while, but it was entertaining to watch people like, no, we want Darkwing. We're not leaving. We've been waiting this long.
Yep.
All the attractions were open. You get snack vouchers. Being Vacation Club members, they also have complimentary ice cream. So I definitely enjoyed a nice Mickey Premium Bar. It was just a great night, even with it being rainy. And one of the things that I don't think I've ever really experienced was the camaraderie of Vacation Club members. And usually I'm going with a Vacation Club member, so they're kind of just leading us wherever. This was getting a chance to be in line with everybody and talking to the other Vacation Club members and how much they love DVC. And this isn't me getting paid to say this. This wasn't like you have to say this like this shirt is from Roosevelt's. No, it was just a fun event and everybody enjoyed it.
I am so mad at you.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You should be, but
That's cool though. That sounds like, it sounds like a nice event. I'm sorry to hear that it's hard to get into, because that's one of the more frustrating aspects right now for me when it comes to kind of Disney clubs, is that things that are part of my membership entrance fee are not easily accessed, and it's kind of frustrating. It's like I'm paying a fee to be part of this. Could you maybe do more of them, or figure out some way to, just make it a little easier? And I haven't tried a DVC one, so I only know kind of like from word on the street. But you see this with, and they can't, to some extent, they can't help that they're really popular.
Yeah.
You know, so D23, DVC, Run Disney. No, I mean, and Run Disney could have marathons. It feels like every other week, and it would be, you know, super popular. So, you know, it's like that's
This is the question of the day. Did you hear the song? Did you ask about the song? Did you praise the song?
Oh no,
Disney Vacation Club, right where we belong. Please tell me you like heard that like 24 hours a day.
I did not actually.
Aww.
I know.
It should play when you open the door to your Riviera room.
Oh, it should.
Yes. No, there was no music. It may have been part of what they wanted for the Moonlight Magic, but as we were huddled underneath the Vacation Club roof, we watched the poor cast members that had set up. You know, they were going to have characters in Pizzafari and other places, but as the rain is going, I'm just watching the tech cast members have to roll the lights out of the area because they were moving them over to Lion King.
I just feel so bad that their number one fan of their theme song was on this coast and didn't get to go to their little soiree.
Yeah, that is among many things I feel bad about on this event.
Keep an eye out for the upcoming villas at the Disneyland Hotel.
Very exciting. Yeah.
They don't have a view of the Skyliner. All right. Moving right along. I guess.
Get it on.
Good times and good news.
So when Fantasmic was delayed at Disneyland, they said, "Fear not, folks. We've got entertainment coming up. We're going to make use of that space. You are going to be entertained at night in New Orleans Square." Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Queenie and the Jambalaya Jazz Band.
I really like the artwork on this float.
It is very nice.
I'm just happy that they're bringing back a piece of entertainment that's been gone for like 50 years.
This used to basically, not with all the accoutrements, but they used to have a jazz band do the pre-show for Fantasmic back in the day. The Bayou Brass, among others, I think.
Yeah.
But
Side Street Strutters used to be one too.
This is Queenie and the Jambalaya Jazz Band. Their new setup on the Rivers of America. You can see they've outfitted one of the rafts. They're also going to actually incorporate it. You can see the water fountains and lights and such behind them. So it's going to be pretty cool, pretty interesting. You're going to perform 3 sets, starting at 7:30 p.m. nightly. Check the app for exact show times. They're also going to do call and response. When we say Queen, you say Queen, Queen, stuff like that.
I really hope not. Although I'm looking forward to Mike's video of him having to run back and forth around the top of the Rivers of America as the raft goes.
Kyle kind of poking fun at Jazz Kitchen, but now that I look at this stuff, it makes me wonder, like, did they just take this off the walls over there at Jazz Kitchen and bring it over?
That's one of the rafts in Tom Sawyer Island, so I'm guessing that setup will be very, here's the cardboard cutout.
Does it feel like that's the enormous?
That's the set.
You just go up the stairs. Yeah.
Like, here we have this sitting in the back. Let's just. I know that it's not. It's reminiscent.
We've seen enough recycled stuff. It could be.
You don't know.
But I love the colors. I'm sorry, but I do.
It is.
Really.
All right. Also at Disneyland, the holidays are coming, starting on November 10th through January 17th. Mickey and Minnie are going to be in all new holiday costumes. The Three Kings stuff will be going on. All the cool stuff they do over in the Festival of the Holidays at DCA. All your holiday favorites are coming back, and it is really cool.
Like the drummers. I love those toy drummers. They're coming back.
And now, Halloween starts on Friday over at Walt Disney World. I don't know why they're waiting all the way till November to start Christmas. I feel like they could start Christmas sometime in like mid-October, early October.
Yeah, it's nice that it's Halloween.
I'm still surprised that Disneyland still waits for Halloween until, when's the first Oogie Boogie? Like mid-September?
No, I think it's the 5th. I think it's the first week of September now. I don't think it's mid-September.
Al, you're up.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's maybe it is the 11th.
Even then, that's still pretty late,
It is the 5th of September.
Winner.
It was the 5th of September. Isn't that an Old Temptation song?
No.
23rd.
You don't know. Jeremiah, name one Temptation song.
I only know him because Doobie made me watch the TV movie bazillions of times when we first married.
Jeremiah's look when I asked him to name a Temptation song.
Nikki B says, "Thank you, Disneyland, for waiting until September." Yep, we appreciate you.
Can you really not name one, Jeremiah?
Off the top of my head, no. But then again, like, I couldn't. If you said name a Green Day song that is one of my all-time favorite bands, and just said name a Green Day song, I'd be like,
Jeremiah freezes under pressure.
yeah.
That's okay. I understand.
I want to test this theory. What's your favorite Disney song?
That's more of like trying to run through my head of
There we
what
go.
song.
I guess it's
When
true.
You Wish Upon a Star.
He just starts buffering as he processes. Circle, circle, circle.
What is your answer when you hear Jeremiah, Rebecca? Your favorite Disney song? What's the first song? Not necessarily really your favorite, but just the first one that comes to mind.
There's room for everyone in this world.
Yeah, no one's heard of that. What is that?
I
from?
know, but you asked. Followed by "Someone's Waiting for You." Also, nobody's
Okay.
heard of, but I
At
love
least that one I've heard of. Jeremiah, what's the first one that comes to your head?
Fantasia. Seriously, because I'm so used to when everybody's like, "What's your favorite movie? Favorite Disney movie?" Fantasia. But favorite music, favorite song. It depends on what era you're looking for. That kind of thing.
I just want to know the first
Water.
one. There's a good one.
No, it's
I'll
not.
try.
I hate that song.
No, you
We've gone
don't.
through this so
Yes,
many times.
he does. By the way, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, another great Disney song.
That everyone's heard of. Everyone loves Candle on the Water. Jeremiah, you're so wrong.
Again, it is the Cheer Up Charlie of Disney.
Over in Hong Kong,
Cheer up,
This year is the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company, and it's also the 18th anniversary of Hong Kong Disneyland.
今次好特別嘅意義就係喺香港迪士尼樂園度假區呢一度咧，可以有一個全新嘅銅像。
The origin story has Walt taking his daughters over to the Griffith Park merry-go-round. So it seemed very natural for us to choose our carousel.
我哋今次團隊裏邊咧有兩位嘅大師級人物，第一位就係 Chris Turner，咁佢一路指導 Sandra 去畫佢嘅畫作啦。另一位就係 Scott，咁今次佢亦都同兩位 sculptors 啦 ，Patrick 同埋 Irma 咧就一齊塑造咗 Mickey 同埋 Walt。
We talk so much about what we should call this, and Dreammakers was this perfect encapsulation. Walt and Mickey brought so many dreams to life.
Dreammakers 嘅中文名係創夢家，創除咗係創作啦、
If you know
創
when it's
意
gonna show，
仲
up
有創新。我哋好希望秉承住華特創新嘅精神，令到我哋唔係單單只係夢想，仲要係創夢。
I feel like you're just stopping in on a conversation with that.
Well, I feel like, they're really just kicking Roy off the bench there. Like, Roy, Minnie, you're out of here.
No.
So, fun fact.
Not at all. What?
That statue will celebrate its 10th anniversary before it ever opens at Epcot.
It's not the same statue. You know that,
I
right?
know it's not the same statue,
Okay.
but it's a new statue.
That's,
Hey,
Okay, so that's my challenge with the one that they're building at Epcot. Is it's so different. Like partner statue, it's like Mickey. It's like you've encountered Walt as he's walking with Mickey through the park. In essence, you feel like there's momentum happening there that you interrupt.
momentum.
And this one,
Yeah.
and this one too. I feel like Mickey and is Walt is having a conversation with Mickey that you're kind of interrupting. Whereas the one we've seen that's coming to Dreamer's Point is very much like him in like just a moment at rest, which I just don't think of him as being a person at rest.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have kind of surmised that what type of rest he
So
was
stop.
after.
What were you gonna say, Jeremiah?
I look at it more as him looking to the future. Like, I definitely drank the Kool-Aid at the D23 Expo when they were talking about it, that it is him just like looking off into the future.
It's
that
also-
he's looking towards Moana and
It's also very old Walt. If you look at this is definitely later years Walt. I feel like he's like, I earned the right to sit here and just gaze upon what I've created and
And the airbrushed out the cigarette out of his hand. Yeah.
And like I say, to me, this is just a different facet of Walt I don't often think of. I don't often think of him as being kind of sitting back and, patting himself on the back kind of dynamic, or kind of
That's the next statue.
looking like it.
With the caption, "That'll do, Walt. That'll do."
I don't. Like I say, it's not meant as a criticism. It's meant as it's interesting to see them select kind of a different facet of Walt to present to us.
Oh. So there's one other story I wanted to mention, and then are you able to come on down there, Mr. B? We could have the first update from someone who did something very special. So let's real quick talk about the Disney Cruise Line. They have changed their internet packaging. You are now going to be able to purchase per day, which I think you could on some of the ships, but you also can pre-purchase the entire voyage and save a considerable. Are you?
I'm sorry. Mac. No. I don't.
Oh, I feel like I earned the right to gaze upon what Jeremiah was gazing at.
I know, right? I feel like I can sit in the balcony of the Riviera Resort and look out at the beautiful view that Jeremiah
That's
got.
what I've earned the right for. Heck yeah. This is the right I've earned, Mac. Let's be clear. This is what I earned.
Julie, I'm sorry that you weren't there. You could have just sat on the balcony the entire time while I did all the other stuff. You should have had that right. I apologize.
I wish I had that picture we had of Lou Mangello at the poker table, because I'd be like, no, Judy, this is what you got to enjoy. Share that picture of Lou at the table from our
getting cleaned out by Lou Mangello. Okay, internet, you can save money if you buy the entire voyage. Starting, it looks like it's already started on all the ships except the Wonder for some reason, which it is not rolled out to yet. So the highest price is a premium surf package. If you get it for the full voyage, it's $34 a day.
You can now surf on the cruise lines?
As someone who has to be online, even on a cruise, I'm very appreciative of this.
And this is an increase, right? I believe.
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
It's an increase per day, but the package is...
But you can get the package. So you can pay what you paid before if you buy it all. Anyway.
See, okay, the CEO
come on, set it straight, Ben. Set it straight.
No, they've done this packages for the voyage since the Wish launched.
Yeah.
They rolled it out to the other ships. It's just they just raised the prices. Is all this really is.
Then we got the wrong headline.
I guess we do.
Disney Cruise Line announces new internet access pricing structure. So the voyage long discount.
The word structure is the wrong word there. It should just be new pricing.
Ta-da! So Ben.
Yeah, we've definitely.
I haven't seen you.
Bug Kyle.
I haven't seen you since you were a global traveler.
Yeah.
Let's give a proper introduction. This is Benjamin Breitbart. He is the CEO of Laughing Place LLC, my boss, even though I founded the company. And
wow, can I just step out of this before the fight starts?
And my best friend, and I am, first of all, very thankful to him for sending myself and my wife on an incredible Adventures by Disney to Wyoming. Literally the best vacation I've ever had in my life. It was spectacular.
Amazing.
And while we were doing that,
I feel like I'm at the edge where it's like you went on your first cruise and now it just has to be. It's like something you have to do. I'm working.
It is.
Oh no, we're already
so in 25
budget for one in the future.
There are rumors that there's going to be one in Japan. We're going to want to attend in a couple of years, so we're working on it.
So
it might even coincide with Star Wars Celebration. Anyway, but while we were doing that, Benji was on an Adventures by Disney of his own, which, while not as fun as ours, was perhaps more spectacular. And he went around the world.
I want to ask questions.
Yeah, so let's do it that way. Rebecca, ask some questions.
Okay. You were gone for numerous days. We've been following Alex's tremendous recaps. What was Ben's highlight of the adventure?
So I get that question a lot, and the only answer I can have is kind of sappy, but it's the truth. Is just seeing people, making new friends, but also seeing people around the world who I've been associated with, who and seeing them in this. It's hard to put. People ask all the time, was it worth it? I mean, I guess it depends on
exactly.
what's worth what to you. I mean, and I was by far, that's not fair. I was on the higher end of Disney experiences under my belt. I mean, I've been to every park before. I had been to many of those parks fairly recently. So, it's not just getting to go to the park. You could do that on your own. And I would recommend not doing them back to back to back to back if you have the opportunity, for 2 days at a time. But, you got sort of an unprecedented level of access to senior leaders at the company, special experiences at the destinations. Some you had more special experiences than others. They, basically, if the more likely you were to have been at that park before, the more they put into it. So it's special. It's not the way. If you've not been to Walt Disney World, this is not the way to go to Walt Disney World. Or Disneyland. I was actually surprised at the number of people who on the trip who had never been to Disneyland before.
Interesting.
I was talking to, I guess, Doobie earlier. It's like, it was interesting is it was a Nat Geo trip with a Disney overlay onto it. Mm-hmm. So, Nat Geo does these around the world trips basically constantly. I mean, this plane is basically always being used for Nat Geo.
You can find those under private jet adventures. It's an entire category of travel.
So and I mean this in the nicest way. The Nat Geo people didn't know a lick about Disney. Like, we exited the Opera House after the first day, and a guest asked one of the Nat Geo people, who, where the fireworks, and he points. He's like, I think they're over there, and points to City Hall, like above City Hall.
Oh wow!
Okay. On fire.
And I mean, but being able to see these guys who have literally spun around the world 6 times a year fall in love with the magic of Disney was really cool. I mean, I think sometimes as Disney fans we have this perception that it's fake, it's not real, it's
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right. I mean, but it was neat to introduce Disney and what makes them special, and all the details that we know as fans to the Nat Geo people. I will, if you're wondering, obviously the first time they do anything, there's going to be some bumps, and this is not like, the most logistically easy thing to pull off. So you want to give them a little bit of leeway, and that, not everything is super, super smooth, but it was more smooth than I would have anticipated. Also, ultimately there were 73 people on the trip. Before the trip was over, 17 people had booked Nat Geo around the world trips. So I think
that's
wow,
impressive.
Great marketing.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, and it's the little things they did, like the doctor on the trip. Like, it's like, you just want to be able to like call him after the fact to ask medical questions, because he was that personable, that knowledgeable. And you're just like, I wish I could ask you like random questions. Like, you almost wanted to be like, oh, this thing that's been bothering me, but now it's really bothering me because I'm on the trip. Can you help me with it? Because and he was really cool. I mean, he wasn't represented by anything.
Did you find that was there a unique for you? Because so Ben, you've been to all the parks before and everything, but going to them in such rapid succession, did it give you a different perspective? Did you come away from that learning something new? Did that bring something different to you as a Disney fan, having, like I say, boom, 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 you're at all the parks?
I think you do get something. I can't put my finger on it by seeing the nuance of each of them. It makes you appreciate that, yes, we say 6 castle parks, but that's a gross generalization. None of them are the same, especially now. I had not been to Hong Kong Disneyland since they built the Castle of Magical Dreams.
I want to see that thing.
Sort of enveloped into the Castle of Magical Dreams. But I think you notice some things that are similar that you would never, like, there's shows that are basically the same, but different enough. They have a different name, but then you realize, well, no, they're basically the same thing.
Mickey and the Magical Map.
Yeah, I mean, and I've heard Happily Ever After in more continents now than.
Oh, that's so cool.
But, there's little things you like about this park. It makes you. I think it made me realize that you can't really rank them.
And you had Becky Cline, the I want to say director of Walt Disney Archives is her title, on board the journey with you. Was there a particular nugget of information that she shared, or a perspective that she brought that was new to you? Because you're like a super uber fan, whereas most of the people on this are not.
I mean, so full disclosure, I would consider Becky a friend of mine. So there's plenty of things that we talked about one-on-one that I
mean within the
Disney wide.
So I will say this was not as the level. I was surprised, and I don't mean this in a pejorative way, but surprised by the lack of Disney knowledge of the group. Mm-hmm. And so I know Becky went in and kind of, I don't want to say dumbed down, but gave a more basic presentation that's
accessible.
Yeah. So for example, everyone, I think all four of us would go, don't need a primer on the 64 World's Fair, but this group benefited from it. So it's not, you're not talking like deep dive, like NFFC, Disney Fan Club, even Destination D23 kind of level. Okay. You're talking, these are really guests who enjoy the experience of going to the parks, but I do not consider them Disney historians. I mean, not that I'm a Disney historian, but whatever that next level is, I don't want to, overgeneralize, but for the most part, I was in many circles. I am not the most knowledgeable Disney person on there because I'm not a historian by any stretch, but in this trip,
yeah. She did a weird Disney presentation for you guys, didn't she?
She did not.
Oh, I thought that I saw that on one of the things.
So there were some technical limitations on the plane about what you could do and what you couldn't do that were kind of discovered after the fact.
No, that's true.
So there was some, she had presentations, but some of the presentations were not what they were originally intended. So, I mean, I think that's where some of the stuff that I learned, just talking to Becky was about from stuff that were presentations that were planned on happening, but didn't end up happening for whatever reason. So I've seen a lot of, I don't want to say I've seen these presentations before, but, I know about the Mickey Mouse Club Circus. I know about
the Mickey Mouse Club gas mask. Yeah.
What non-Disney site or wonder that you got to experience did you enjoy the most?
Well, in terms of purely non-Disney, the only thing, so you had an option basically in every site to go basically spend one day doing that city versus spending time in the park. The only park we chose to take that was Paris because Alex had never been to, he's been to Disneyland Paris several times, but he's never been to Paris. So we did it in Paris. However, I had seen all those, I've been to the Louvre, I've seen the Mona Lisa, I've seen the Eiffel Tower. So, I would say the biggest surprise to me was the Taj Mahal, in that it's so beautiful. And I mean, it's not like, it's not like a pyramid where it has this sort of religious significance. It's basically a tomb, a mausoleum, but it's so beautiful that it just doesn't come across in anything. And being able to see it from my window, from my hotel room was kind of cool. Same with the pyramids. It's funny because like at Disneyland, I didn't get a park view room. No complaints. Obviously I should say obviously, but in Hong Kong and Shanghai, I didn't have a park view. But I got a pyramid view. I got a Taj Mahal view. I did okay.
What was your favorite swag? Because I know they gave you like various trinkets and bags, and I say trinkets because it was like $1,000 retail value carry-on piece of luggage. I know was part of your package, but I just wonder for you, like what item did they give? And then the other thing I want to know is what was your favorite thing you ate?
So my favorite piece of swag was probably they created a crystal 30th anniversary name tag with our names on them.
Ooh.
And for Disneyland Paris. And what I liked about it was there was times when this felt very much in the moment. Remember, this is Disney 100, so we had Disney 100 Mickey. We were there for the 30th anniversary, so we had a conversation about that at Disneyland Paris. We had a presentation on the statue coming to Hong Kong Disneyland. We went to Journey into Water. This exact version can only happen at this exact moment. And I like those things because otherwise, it made it feel more special. I mean, I know they're doing it twice next year, and those will have their own, moments. But I felt when it felt alive, like we were there to celebrate a moment. And to me, this was my outside of Paris. This was my returning international parks to my sort of. So I thought that was a really nice touch. And some of the pins, I mean, they had new pins a day. Some of them were not good, and some of them were amazing.
I got a chance to see some of those pins, and they were some beautiful ones.
And if you haven't been reading Alex's review recaps, kind of his daily tour recaps, be sure to check those out on Laughing Place. You can find out what their experiences were like as they were touring. And I'm sure when I have a chance to talk to Alex, he will be much more forthcoming with information, because he's just more chatty about this kind of stuff than Ben. It's like pulling teeth. And
I don't know if you have the day from the studios pin. I thought that was one of the funniest ones to me, because they took
studios in California.
Oswald.
Yeah, so it would be like day 2. It was like they wanted to do a pin of the studios, and I'm looking at the pin, and there's nowhere on the lot that looks like this. What they did was they Googled Disney Studios, and they pulled up an image of Disney Studios Paris with the gate, the beautiful gate they have over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you thought that was based off of something at the park. I mean, at the studios, but it just.
What was your favorite room? Like hotel wise, which hotel experience did you like the best?
The room itself.
Just hotel again. If you were to go visit one of these hotels again, for whatever reason, which hotel would you like to go and experience again?
Probably the one in Agra.
Okay.
Leroy. I mean, just because I've done the other hotel. Yeah, so that's obviously not the Walt Disney.
Right.
But it feels so much wrong with that.
But it feels very of the era, of the time.
Right, and I would say the one about in Agra is, I mean, that's if you're just going nicest hotel in terms of service. I mean, there's not now, unless you count Skywalker Ranch, which is not a hotel, but that is the best place we stayed.
Okay.
This is the best bed that you had, right?
Yeah, but I've stayed in that before, so.
That's cool. Is that Marvel?
Yeah, it's the Avenger Suite.
Oh, so cool.
But in Skywalker Ranch, we couldn't take pictures, so you're not going to see any images of it. But that was it was a shame that it was like 3 days into the trip, because it was the most relaxing 2 days you could ever possibly have, and we could have used it again later on in the trip. But it was one of those things where like, oh, we have some spa treatments available, and so we book it. Let's just relax. So we booked the spa treatment, and then I go, I'm like, so I go to the lady at the end, and Alex and I were separate, and I go, so how do I pay you? She goes like, oh, we're not taking money here. So I go to the front desk. And they go, oh, we'll check back later. So I check back later, and she goes, it's taken care of.
Aww.
And even like, unbeknownst to me, malaria is a concern in India. And they, let's try crazy. So the doctor recommended we go on Malaron, which is like an anti-malaria medication.
Mm-hmm.
I go like, I was like, well, can you get me a prescription? So he got us a prescription. I got a note on my phone, your prescription's ready to pick up in Garden Grove. And so I go, oh, am I going to Garden Grove? So I'm like, I'm fine. I can go to Garden Grove. It's not that far. And she's like, oh no, Dr. Shea's picking it up. And they paid for the medication and everything. So,
oh wow, that's wonderful.
You never felt, I'm sure, people will push it and then things will be, not as free, but you never, I mean, even when you would go into a city, they give you basically $10 in local currency to do stuff, for the basics. So you didn't have to worry about getting currency in every, to go use the restroom in some of those countries where you need them for things like that.
And by the way, I want to say, we just got off an Adventures by Disney that was just a plain old Wyoming here in the good old US of A. And similar as far as that concierge type service that we were able to receive. And I know, Jeremiah, you've done an Adventures by Disney in South Africa, and there's just this level of care that they have for you while you're touring with them that is very impressive, and helped me to understand why the price point on these, when you look at these, it's not a budget vacation, but I understood where the money was going. Why was I paying this premium price? Because I am getting a premium experience, and I am more willing to save up my money and pay more when I'm getting more for it. I'm not somebody who just tends to buy something based on the brand. You need to give me also a level of higher valued service to me.
Yeah, it was best meal, and this is gonna sound hokey, but they do when they do Nat Geo, the first meal back in the United States is all comfort food, and it felt so going to the Grand Floridian and just having some Disney mac and cheese with Disney nuggets, and
somehow I knew mac and cheese was going to be the first thing. It's
I
like
believe
mac and
it.
cheese. There we go.
I believe it.
And there was a lot of dietary requests. I mean, it's one thing to be allergic; it's another thing just to have taste issues, and they did their darndest to accommodate those. I mean, more than probably they should, in that, and even on a plane or in these different countries, there's a guy who basically only liked mac and cheese, so they tried to.
That's nice.
Buy mac and cheese, like
So
crap.
I have a question for you, Benji, and I know that you're not this type of guy. There had to be one moment on this trip that you just shed a little bit of a tear over something. Like the Mickey
Jeremiah?
hug, that kind of stuff.
You mean out of happiness?
Yes. Not yeah.
Pain.
Yeah. That was when he got home.
You saw an adorable dog somewhere. Admit it.
I did see some nice dogs in Egypt, but no, I would say there were. I mean, every place except Paris. Insert joke here. The cast just lined up to greet you, and just and there's just something cool about people. And it wasn't obviously they were told to do it, but at the same time, there was a genuine joy in their voice, and seeing the happiness of people around it hits you that no matter what. Yes, Japan's different than Paris, which is different than Florida, but around the world, Disney is being united. I mean, I met our tour guide in Hong Kong. His dream is to go visit Disneyland, in Disney World, and you just it's like the mothership, right? It's like he just wants to do the but he's an opening day Hong Kong cast member. Met his wife there. I mean, just the same storylines you hear, domestically. Just, it's this uniting force. I mean, obviously, the cultures are different and should be, be respected. But there's a certain level of magic that everyone embraces. And I think we've seen it in Paris. The Kool-Aid drinking in Paris at first was not high. Yeah. But now we're seeing,
in the wine.
The Disney culture a lot more, and I think they're better off for it.
Did you, before Doobie asked his question, did you finally get to any Disney park without knowing somebody there? Because just before we went on our trip, you were talking about how the people you were touring with were beginning to wonder who you were because you kept being recognized in various places as you were going, because you know so many people across the company. I just wondered, did that continue?
Yeah, I mean, it did. I'm trying to think if there's one site where I didn't know anyone. I'm trying to think. Did I not know anyone in
Alaska?
Shanghai.
Okay.
I knew of them, but they didn't know me.
Okay.
I knew people there, but they didn't know me.
Okay.
I think Shanghai would be the one.
Okay. Doobie, what was your question, honey?
So it is called the Private Jet Adventure. How important? I'm not going to ask about the coolness of the private jet, even though that's all I really care about. But how important was that aspect to the trip, and was that really taken advantage of throughout?
So I mean, it's important. I don't want to. I hate the term private jet, because private jet to me, I have visions of Succession with you're
right.
And that's not what this is. This is a 757 with domestic first class seats. Because it's still 75, it's 80 people, 85 people. But what it did allow you to do was, in certain places, and so you could go through your adventure guide just text messaged me about your son.
I believe it. They really hit it off.
Okay.
So you could go, like, for example, Agra doesn't have a domestic, like a real airport. So we flew into an airport where we could do customs, and then we flew into a military base so that we could get there in half an hour, as opposed to most people need to take a 2-hour bus ride to get to the Taj Mahal. When we got off the plane in Oakland, we just got on our bus. There was a bus
Right.
waiting.
You got in your car and drove home.
So that sort of level depended on where you were going, what the situation was. They said that sometimes it didn't, it's, you don't know what's going to happen, custom, especially obviously in China, you don't know what they're going to do. But like when we came back originally, we were supposed to come back and stop in Nova Scotia, but we ended up stopping in Maine. And so we were able to do customs while they were doing the refueling, basically. And so, it did help you get in and out faster by being on a private jet.
How about in terms of like scheduling, not having to wait for a regular commercial flight, or food on board, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there was food on board. The only thing about the food on board is there's still 75 people they're trying to serve. So it took a while to do the whole plane. Mm-hmm. It's not like, if you're familiar with like Delta One, an international high level, it's not that. You're not getting that level of food. The food was great, but it's not that many courses. It's, they're trying to be efficient. But it's it's good, and they tried to theme it so wherever you were leaving, so as we were leaving Japan, we had sushi, and things like that for, people that didn't have restrictions. And then you can just go in the cockpit and just hang out there and watch the plane land if you want.
Can you please repeat that?
You can hang out in the cockpit and watch them land in the plane.
One of my friends who was on it, she sat in there for the takeoff, I think, from India, and she posted that video, and it's just like, that alone is the coolest thing in the world.
Yes, it is.
For those who are newer to Laughing Place, we are longtime fans of.
I didn't know him in Shanghai.
Around here, and so Kyle is asking, because one of the things that Denny Newell has become beloved by, from our team here at Laughing Place, is how magnificent he has entertained Disney guests with very small little stage shows here and there throughout the resort. So that is why Kyle is asking, did Denny Newell make the most of a little on your trip?
So fun fact, Dean Balladad was one of the adventure guides.
Hi, Dean.
And he was hired by Denny Newell back in the day.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
So, Denny Newell obviously has a bigger budget for entertainment at Shanghai Disneyland than, Minnie's Christmas Party at the Fantasyland Theater. But yeah, it was,
Dean would have been, just for those people, Dean would have been one of those cast members that Doobie would have peppered with questions, because Dean was in guest relations when Doobie was first becoming a Disney fan. And so he was a frequent guest, taking the Walk and Walt's Footsteps tour many, many times. And Dean would have been offering those quite frequently. So
I had no friends. So I went to Disneyland and took tours.
So poor Dean would have had to have put up with newbie Doobie.
Had to have a balloon to find a girl, Doobie. I see how it is.
It's I will say, historical accuracy was not necessarily top of mind for all the people involved on our tours. And so, sometimes I want to say something, I'd be like, huh. And I go back to Becky and I'd be like, for example, we did Walt's Office, which I've done in various forms, Walt's Office tour thousands of times. And she's like, well, Dave Smith came in here the day after Walt died and chronicled everything. And I was like, that doesn't sound, Dave didn't work here. And also, I don't think Dave was just in the corner waiting for Walt to die.
That's just so many levels of incorrect there.
And so I go to Becky and I go, that's not true, right? And she goes, no, not true at all.
See, Benji, you and I are so much alike when it comes to stuff like that. But, I think I've gotten very good at biting my tongue. So I can
Yeah,
only
the main
imagine
chicken
you
is
and
definitely-
Becky in the background, just like.
And then a sore arm from Alex, like punching me not to say something.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Now, just a minute. Okay. All right.
Hold on.
But
I
I
got
was,
one
I
last
mean,
question.
the high level thing is, this is not, if your goal is to see every park, this is not the way to do it. If your goal is to have a special experience in all these parks and enjoy it with the highest level of service, then this is the way to go. As someone said at the end of the trip, it's not a vacation, it's an adventure. And
So
you're not going to come back home rested and relaxed. So be prepared.
did you go on the ride that the sun never sets on in each of the parks?
That's a good question. Where is this Jeremiah been with two incredibly good questions?
What was the question?
Did you go on It's a Small World in all the parks that it's in?
I don't know that I did It's a Small World at Disneyland. We did do the carousel and Dumbo in each park, which
I
is
love
the two
that.
attractions that are in all parks. We started with Disneyland. We started in Disneyland, and so obviously I go to Disneyland all the time. So like it was less about going on attractions, and so I will say, so you get grouped with like in each park we were given at some point, besides Tokyo, a VIP tour guide. But you're grouped with people, right? So you want to kind of do what there's kind of this like, I don't want to say call it negotiation, but you're trying to kind of like, I really want to do this, you really want to do that. There's not a heck of a lot of time at some of these places, so you don't. It's hard to kind of just put those single and doubles on the list when people who've never been to the park want to see all the big e-tickets and what the parks are known for. Because there was times when I was like, we're being really stupid here about how we're planning our day, but it's not. You're not gonna. People want to go do it. They want to go do it. And for most parks, except the China parks, we also had Premier Access, or whatever version of that. So you could go out on your own if you didn't want to do whatever your tour guide group wanted to do, which was nice.
I have a quick one. I didn't really look at the itinerary before it started, so I was kind of surprised how much time was spent in the domestic parks. Do you think the balance was good? I shouldn't say the domestic parks. How much time was spent in Southern California and then in Florida on the back end? I kind of expected you to be out of those mainstays more.
So, I mean, as I tried to say, it's the domestic parks they tried to supplement with special experiences. And really, you were only one day at Disneyland because one day was on the studio lot, which for most people, I mean, I go into this knowing that my life is not normal. And then I will say, at first you're like, this is going to feel very anticlimactic going to Walt Disney World and ending it there. And in a way it was kind of weird the last thing we did as a group was Epcot Forever, which, you get no basic level Disney experience than an Epcot dessert party, right? But they did try and, there was virtually no time in the parks at those places. It was about going, getting a safari with one of the animal programs people, going backstage there. Trying to think what else we did. We got the Epcot presentation. We're the first group to ever kind of, this kind of group, to get to walk around the top of the Seas tank. What other parks? Magic Kingdom. We went to the monorail. We went to Central Shops, Holiday Services. So it wasn't really, as much park time.
Okay.
Now there were some things that were kind of a bust at Walt Disney World, but in hindsight, I mean, on paper, I would have been like, that's a lot of time at Walt Disney World at the end when, a lot of people lived in Florida. But, in the end, it ended up being fine.
Hey, I would like to thank Benji for doing this, and I suspect you
We'll do
may be able to.
kind of a deep dive, I think, too, at some point with Alex.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
Okay, that's it today, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.
We miss you, Mike. Stay warm.